Did you? Got the club going up on the Tuesday.
The big news.
News? What news?
Sorry.
What?
All right, Lane. But this is beyond news. This is like Pearl Harbor or the Kennedy assassination. It's like not even news, it's total shock.
Hello and welcome to video number 2 of the 12th of February's Tuesday Newsday. Much of this will be a little bit of review since you've done article number 1 and video number 1. Learn a goal to determine 2 or more central ideas of a text and analyze how they develop over the course of that text, including how they interact and build on one another. The scale, which you can read through, but I also went through in the first video. The 4 skills that we're going to work on to identify the topic, to summarize the article in one sentence, to find the first and last sentence of that article, and then look at what the repeated ideas are and how those lead us to the main idea. The article for today continues with a sort of technology focus. The first article was about social media and these platforms saving your photos and saving your posts and things. This one is titled 14-Year-Old's FaceTime Bug Discovery Could Rattle Apple. And it was written on the 11th, so just yesterday. And it begins here. At the heart of Apple's shocking FaceTime bug, which allowed just about anyone to turn an iPhone into a live microphone, stands a 14-year-old boy who stumbled upon the eavesdropping flaw more than a week before Apple took action. The thing that surprised me the most is that this glitch happened in the first place, said Grant Thompson, a high school freshman in Tucson, Arizona. I'm only 14 and I found it by accident, instead of the people at Apple that get paid to find glitches. Not only that, but Grant and his mom, Michelle Thompson, said they spent a week unsuccessfully trying to get Apple to do something about the bug in its FaceTime group chatting feature. The bug allowed callers to activate another person's microphone remotely even before the person has accepted or rejected the call. It took 9 days for us to get a response, he said. My mom contacted them almost every single day through email, calling, faxing. Of the fax, he jokes. I'm not even sure what that is. It's probably older than I am. This eavesdropping scare ended when Apple disabled group chats. On February 7th, Apple released an iPhone update to fix the software flaw. But the problem could dog the company for much longer. New York State officials have opened a consumer rights investigation. Others are raising questions about how long it took Apple to address the bug. In a statement issued February 1st, Apple thanked the Thompsons as it announced that it had identified a fix, which was later released on February 7th. FaceTime group chatting resumed then. Grant, a straight-A student who plays basketball, does community volunteering, and enjoys the video game Fortnite, was calling friends to play the game on January 19th when he discovered the flaw. If a 14-year-old kid discovered it, I wonder how many other people discovered it, said Chris Weissapal, a chief technology officer with the security firm Veracode. Apple hasn't said whether it has records that could answer that question. The February 1st statement said Apple's engineers worked quickly once they got the details needed to reproduce the bug. Although Apple didn't acknowledge a delay, the company said it was committed to improving the process by which we receive and escalate these reports in order to get them to the right people as fast as possible. The company, at first widely praised for its swift response, could come under increased scrutiny as regulators seemed to learn more about the vulnerability. New York State Attorney General Letitia James and Governor Andrew Cuomo said January 30th they're investigating Apple's failure to warn consumers about the FaceTime bug and slow response to adding the issue. to addressing the issue. They said the bug jeopardized the privacy of New York's consumers. James said her office's review will include a thorough investigation into Apple's response. Last October, Apple introduced the 32-person video conferencing feature for iPhones, iPads, and Macs. With the bug, a FaceTime group chat user calling another Apple device could hear audio, even if the receiver didn't accept the call. The bug was triggered when callers turned a regular FaceTime call into a group chat, making FaceTime think the receiver had accepted the chat. In Grant's case, he had just gotten his Xbox ready and called to invite a friend, Nathan, to come to play Fortnite with him online. His friend has a great first name. You can swipe up and add another person, so I added another friend of mine, Diego, to see if he also wanted to play, he said. But as soon as I added Diego, it forced Nathan, great name, to respond. They were shocked at first, then tried to repeat the bug, and it happened every time, Grant said. Michelle Thompson said she started trying to reach Apple the next day. They could have tested it within 2 minutes and realized it was true and brought it up the chain at Apple, said Michelle Thompson, who works as an attorney. There needs to be a better process for the average citizen to report things like this, and a timelier response. Michelle Thompson eventually reached someone who advised that she could register as a software developer to submit the bug. Such reports can sometimes lead to bug bounties so that those who discover a flaw can get a financial reward. The family hoped Grant could receive such an award, or at least some credit for his discovery. Every day he would ask me, "Did we hear from Apple yet?" she said. The family tried reaching Apple through multiple channels. They left comments on Twitter, one of them directed at CEO Tim Cook, and uploaded a video to walk Apple engineers through the problem. But it wasn't until after a tech blog had reported the flaw, leading many people to experiment with the spying bug themselves, that Apple took the unusual measure of temporarily shutting down the group chat feature. Apple had declined to say when it learned about the problem. The company also wouldn't say if it had logs which could show if anyone took advantage of the bug before it became publicly known this week. The company contacted the Thompson family on January 29th, offering to give some public credit for their efforts, according to an email Michelle Thompson shared with the Associated Press. It would be cool just to have Apple say thanks to me, Grant said before the February 1st announcement from Apple. And, of course, the bug bounty. That would be pretty awesome to get. But as long as we got rid of a pretty groundbreaking bug and Apple said thank you, that would be pretty cool. Apple said February 7th that Grant would be rewarded for his sleuthing. Apple plans to contribute to Grant's college fund in addition to paying a bounty to him and his family for reporting the bug. So here we are with the worksheet for the assignment. Identifying the topic. Well, the topic is about the bug in the FaceTime group chat. If you can summarize the sentence in about 10 to 12 words, that would be perfect. Question number 3, what are the first and last sentence? That's something you can always go back and look up. Repeated ideas. Look here for specifically what Grant, the 14-year-old's mother, said. She had a lot to say about how this process could have been made simpler, things that she wished were done differently. Those sorts of repeated ideas are what are going to help you get to the main idea of the article, which I'm not going to answer for you, but I do hope that based on the repeated ideas, the first and last sentence, summarizing the story and identifying the topic, that you're able to go to the main idea of the article or figure out what the main idea of the article is. With that, you can earn a half unit, and today can be a 2-unit day if you are on top of things and you're working hard. Have a wonderful day, and please ask questions if you have them.